In today's video, we're going to take a look at one spawn peak for every ranked map on Siege. Now, before we get started, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Let us know down below what other types of tips and tricks you'd like to see, and we'll do our best to bring them to you. So without me talking anymore, let's dive in and get started. So for this first spawn peak, it's located on a constant on the second floor inside the small catering room with the single wall. And what you do is you break open the left side, leaving about half waist height up. You'll see the little bar going across, and if you jump up on top of the desk, you can run up on top of this ledge. Now you'll be able to see all of the spawns from up here, especially on the front side of the building, of course. And if they're coming off that spawn, you can catch them completely off guard and pick them off with relative ease. Moving on to Clubhouse for the next spawn peak, located inside the kitchen on the first floor. Now this requires a Zami, but I promise you if you do it, it will work out for you. So you just jump up on top of the oven, and by placing a Kiba barrier on the side of that shelf, you can get up on top of it. And if you break a small few holes in the window, you can see all the way out towards that construction spawn. You'll see it from the other perspective here, all the bullets, where they're hitting. So when they're coming off that spawn, you can catch them immediately as they come around that corner. This next one takes us over onto Oregon. This is a really strong spawn peak located in the small tower. Now you have to get the timing right with the bullets here, obviously. So you have to wait about 2 or 3 seconds as they're coming off that spawn. But if you jump up on the table and walk across the top of the railing, breaking a corner in the window, you can see all the way down to that police line spawn. And when they're coming off that street spawn, you can catch them completely off guard and get an early pick in the round. Moving on to theme park for this next one, and it's located on Cafe on the second floor. Now what you do is you break open the door, and if you look exactly where I pinpointed on screen, you can actually run out and vault up on top of the railings. Anyone coming off that teacup spawn, you can catch them completely off guard and get an early pick. Moving on to Bank for this next spawn peak, and it's located inside the CEO office on the second floor. Now this one requires a Zami to do it, but again, it's such a strong spawn peak if you can pull it off. So on the second shelf of that turned over bookshelf, you can run and vault up on top of it. If you break the top corner of the window, you can see all the way down to the jewelry spawn. So as they're spawning in and they're just walking off to go down into the tunnel or just walk over to the front of the building, you can pick them off relatively quickly. You'll see from the other perspective here, like literally as you're coming off the spawn, once 1 or 2 seconds go by and you're walking forward, you're going to get instantly picked off by someone, and it's actually really difficult to see the window. Moving on to Cafe for this next spawn peak, located inside the fireplace hall. Now this is a risky one. This is kind of like high risk, high reward if you can pull it off. Of course, if people spawn right outside of that window in front of you, you're going to have a bit of a problem. But if you vault up on top of that little side table, making sure to break the pots on the table before you do it, you can hop up on the window. You can get anyone coming off of the Christmas spawn, and you have to beware of the people coming from the spawn right by the pink truck, or you might get picked off fairly quickly. Moving on to Shallot for this next spawn peak. I think a lot of people know about this spawn peak, but again, it's like spawn peaks, no matter how many times you check, there could always be someone sitting on this window. It's really straightforward. If you break open the window and jump up on the little ledge, you can walk across the ledge and then onto the windowsill. Now once you're up here, you can see anyone coming off that campfire spawn. Obviously there's multiple pathways coming down from there, so you can watch all of them for any attackers pushing towards the building. Moving on to Border for this next spawn peak, and this one's located on the second floor on the balcony in the waiting area. Now normally people break the corner of the window and wait for people coming off that valley spawn, but what I like to do is if you break the right side of the window about halfway up and come around into the hallway, if you make a punch hole in the soft wall, you'll be able to see them as they're coming out from behind that vent from the valley spawn. Now they'll immediately pre-fire the window, but because you're a little further back, they won't be able to see you. They'll expect that there's nobody there and move forward and you can pick them off. You can see where the bullets are hitting there, so they can't see you yet, but you can see them, which of course is the usual perspective issue on Siege, so it's a good one to try out. Now on to Coastline for this next one, located down inside office. Now this is a really simple one, but it's actually so effective. Normally you would break the left side of the window and try and spawn peek, or you'd be upstairs in aquarium trying to get someone coming off that ruined spawn. But if you actually break that left one like you would normally, but then lay prone and break the right hand side of the door, you can completely catch them off guard, because if you'll see here from the other perspective, it's actually really hard to see that little opening on the bottom left of the door. It's like a bush blocking it, which gives you an equal opportunity to pick someone off. So on to Night Haven for this next spawn peek, and it's located in warehouse. Now you don't have to make as many holes as I did on the top here. I'm just showing this for the example. You could make maybe one hole on the top here, and what you can do then is if you go up the stairs and jump over the railing up on top of the crates, you can lay prone up here and peek out towards the helipad. Now because of the angle you're laying at, if you're up on the helipad, it's actually really hard to see this person laying prone on top of the crates, so you won't be expecting anyone. You might pre-fire it thinking that there's someone on the lower part, and you can catch them off guard. Now you can see all the way across the helipad as well, and they can not see you until they reach about the steps coming down from the helipad, so it's a great one to try. Now on to Villa for this next spawn peek. Now this is a really simple one, but again highly effective. A lot of people spawn in the fountain area. So what you can do is down in basement, on this basement door, if you can see where they're coming in here from the spawn, you can run out the door and vault up on top of the black van. You can instantly pre-fire that spot where they're pushing out. So you could have someone throw the C4 from the top one window inside the closet, and then you could run out from basement and you could double team them and pick them off. Onto Outback for this next spawn peek. It's located on the second floor inside Bunks. Now this is pretty straightforward. On the soft wall, about around the halfway point in the right hand side, if you make a small punch hole. Now the reason I'm saying you make it on the lower part of the wall than on the upper part is because you're so low with this punch hole, anyone who's on the lower side coming in from that spawn, they won't see that punch hole, so you can be able to get anyone coming off that ramp and going in towards garage. You can see here how low the punch hole is, so it's actually really hard for them to see even when they're up there on that platform. And if they're down on the ground, down by the trucks, they won't see that hole at all. Now onto Skyscraper for this next spawn peek. Again, a simple but highly effective one. Again, this is like the same thing. You make the punch hole a little bit above halfway and you'll be able to see onto that door coming off that main spawn. You'll be able to see here the bullets hitting that side of the door, so as they're coming out, they can barely see that punch hole and you can catch them off guard and get an easy kill. Moving on to Canal for this next spawn. This is one from Coconut recently. This is on the top floor of that main stairs. If you break open the door and if you wait about 3 seconds and run towards that vent, when you run out and vault up on the vent, you'll see anyone coming off that boat spawn. You can see here again from the other perspective where the bullets are hitting, so whether they're coming up the steps here and they're either going to the right or the left hand side, you can be ready to pick them off as they come around the corner. And moving on to Lair for this next spawn peek. This one is located downstairs in the main reception area. By breaking open the door, you can peek out to the left and there's a small pixel gap between the big container and the wall to the left. So as they're coming in from that main spawn and coming around the trucks, you can pick them off or get a few shots on them and then swing out and catch them off guard. You can see here from the other perspective as they're pushing up, it's like really difficult for them to see you, so you can catch them with a couple of shots before running out and picking them off. Now on to Emerald for this next one. This is located in the music hall just at the very end of the hallway on the second floor. If you break open the window and then break the clock off the wall and the pots, you can place an Azami on the side of the little table. You can then vault over the barrier up on top of the table and watch out the window for them literally spawning in just out there along that street, and as they come down that pathway, you can pick them off very quickly. So that's it for the video today, guys. I really do hope you enjoyed it. Make sure to go down into the comment section, let us know what else you'd like to see on the channel. If you're new, make sure to hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you know when we upload our next video. And if you haven't got your hands on any of the Elevate bundles yet, the most recent one, the Maverick bundle, is available in the Orshik shop. I guarantee you it is fire. You need to have it on. It'll make you play better, and you got to run Maverick. So until next time, guys, I'll talk to you in the next one.